It's the Channel Mom Show, celebrating you with Jenny Dean Schmidt.
If you're a busy mom, get someone else to send your personalized cards for much less than a store-bought card and stamp. It's that easy. Just click on Send Out Cards.
I'm your host, Jenny Dean Schmidt, and we're going to get right back into our conversation about how to prepare you for school. Because I know this is a stressor for a lot of moms with the school year coming and schedules get crazy between mom, dad, and all the kids. And we are preparing some help for you today with our Real Moms with Real Answers. And now we're going to turn our attention to Ann Wiggins, Linda's daughter, who happens to be a homeschooler and has some great ideas, not just for homeschoolers, but how to get your kids in control with things like their sleep schedules and leaving their stuff all over the house, which they might have gotten used to in the summer. So welcome to the show, Ann.
Thank you.
So let's just jump right in. The sleep thing, making that transition from summer. I mean, this morning my kids got up at 10:30 and I think, good Lord, they're going to have to get up 4 hours earlier. So how do we make that transition? How do we get them to go to bed at the right time at night and get up in the morning?
Well, I think the first thing you need to do is have a set bedtime so that your child knows that 8:30 or 8 or 7:30 or whatever it is, that is their bedtime, because you need that standard in order to back it up if they can't get up on time in the morning. A lot of children can get up, they just don't feel like it. Mm-hmm. And we as adults know that it's important to be able to do things that you don't want to do, especially get up in the morning when you have a job. So for every time that you have to come back after the initial time and wake your child back up or tell them to get back out of bed, you simply say, no problem. I will bump your bedtime back by 15 minutes for each time that I have to tell you after the initial wake-up time.
So it's like if they have to go to bed at 8, then they have to go to bed at 7:45 instead. Is that right?
That's exactly right. If you have to come back one time, if you have to come back 3 times in 6 minutes, that's 45 minutes earlier that night. And the great part, Jenny, is that you don't have to be angry or upset or frustrated. You just say, oh, my goodness, I know you're not getting enough sleep. That is exactly what is going on here, and I can help you with that. So we will just take as long as you need, but I will just keep coming back, and we'll just keep backing it up by 15 minutes each time. And then you have to stick with that, even if it means missing out on something that night, and get that child to bed early. They will get themselves up the next morning.
I love it. I mean, I think sometimes oh, goodness, I don't want to be anal retentive. I don't want to be a mom who's just so strident about schedules, but it's better for them if they have this predictable bedtime and it's not just sort of all over the map. So I love that. What about the picking up thing? Again, I was experiencing this morning when I was finding wrappers everywhere and my son's clothes all over the house, and my daughter had things here and there. You know, they each have their issues. What do we do about that? And how do we do it gently so we don't feel like the nagging mom?
Well, something that you can do is just simply, again, without being frustrated or angry or mad at them, just say, hey, I understand how hard this is, and the best way to deal with it is simply to practice. And this is great. We can practice this. So you have them go around and gather up whatever it is. If they come in and they just dump their backpack all over the place, or their coat and their lunchbox, and, everything's in one spot and nothing is where you have told them it has to go, you just have them gather it all up, go back outside, and say, we're just going to practice coming home from school. So they put their coat back on and their shoes back on, and they get their backpack all packed back up. They come in, and they have to practice putting everything where it goes. And when they do, you say, oh, that was so good. But the problem is you've been doing it wrong so long, we're going to have to practice more than once. So pick it all back up, and let's do it again. And it will take a while to do it. And do it as many times as you think, but without exasperating them. If their attitude is bad, more times, because you've got to have a good attitude. But have them do it enough that they really, really don't like it, and then just say to them, look, I don't know if that was enough times or not, but don't tell me. I will know tomorrow when you get home. If I see that you put it all away, I'll know you practiced enough. And if not, no problem, because we can do this again. They'll pick it up.
Yeah, I would think so. And how old? I mean, my 13-year-old would roll his eyes at me if I did this. How do we adjust for age level in that?
Oh, yes. The eye roll. Mm-hmm. The eye roll just earns some more practice time. And if I saw an eye roll, I would just say, oh, again, you can be happy. I saw an eye roll there, and fortunately for you, I know that means you have to practice an additional time for every time I see those eyes roll. So I'm just going to tag one on right now to where I would have stopped. We will do one more, and I'll let you know when that is. But keep rolling the eyes if you'd like, because I have all day.
Yeah, I think parents and I'm right there with them, are afraid to do the tough stuff to get the behavior to change. None of us like to be picking stuff up all day long. None of us like to be getting our kids up and over and over and over again. But you got to do these kind of tough disciplinary measures, like you said, if you really want things to change. So I applaud you in that, and we all should practice what you're saying. All right, you got about 2 minutes left. Can you just give some homeschooling moms and tips that are going to apply to probably all of us, but to get prepared for the coming year?
Well, I think the homeschool thing is such a vast, broad thing. We have people who are homeschooling 9 children, people who are homeschooling 1 child, the special needs or the gifted or just the in-between. So there's a lot of territory here to cover. But I think what has really helped me is just being able to hit a balance between being rigid and being flexible and knowing when to do what. So I think it's important, again, for children to get up at a decent hour and get dressed in clothes and eat their breakfast and put their dishes away. And so for me, that's all part of my homeschool day. We have a schedule to go on. But I try not to let my emotions get carried away if my child is struggling or not doing well with something. If I can kind of pull myself back and say, okay, if this weren't my kid, how would I respond to them? I always do better than if I'm going, come on, you're not trying hard enough. Come on, hurry up and do this. We kind of get motherly with it. So to try to stay out of the motherly range and more in the teacher range, and I pull myself out emotionally and say, okay, pretend like it's not my kid. I always do better.
Yeah, we can't get our pride involved. 30 seconds. Do you have any last tips?
I think what I want to say is don't be afraid to try things. And this is not just for homeschoolers, but just across the board. When you said it's hard to do those tough disciplinary things and we're scared to do it, I think we're scared that we'll try and we'll fail. So, if you're not happy right now with what's going on, then try something else, because you're not going to accomplish anything different by doing the same thing over and over again. So don't be scared. Give it a try. Be strong. Be that authority in your child's life, that loving, firm authority that gives them boundaries. They'll be so much happier.
Yes, fabulous, fabulous advice from our real mom with real answers. Thank you, Ann Wiggins, for being on the show today. Take care.
Thanks so much.